Well, welcome to Colonial Church this morning. I am so glad you're here. My name is Aaron Roberts, and today, this is the Sunday following Easter. And so, as he does many years, our Dr. Joseph Kern has put together a musical worship service for us. And today, if you knew the music that he just played for the prelude, this is the music from Lord of the Rings. And so today we are going to be taking a little trip into Middle Earth with Dr. Kern. Now, as we get started today in each one of our pews, we have pew pads, so please take that, place your name in that, and pass that down to whoever may be next to you. And if there's a prayer that you'd like to share with our entire church community, fill out one of the prayer cards that's in pew 2, and then when the offering plate is passed in a few minutes, place that card in the plate. Next Sunday, we're going to be having our first of 3 new member classes. And so if you'd like to be part of that new member class, we have a great group. Put it in the pew pad this morning, or call the church, or even just talk to me at the end of the service today. And we're going to be having our new member Sunday on May 19th. And so somebody asked and said, well, I can't be here on the 19th. We're going to be out of town. That is still fine. You can still join. We can do something kind of official for you later. But by all means, next week, just give me a call and let me know if you'd like to be part of this class. Then next Sunday is going to be a great Sunday. We are going to be celebrating the baptism and confirmation of a group of young people in our church community. And I'm going to just tell you, it has been such a blessing to me to be part of these people's journey. The idea, it's such a bright group of young kids. I mean, I am amazed by them. And so next week, we are going to celebrate as they confirm and make vows of service and fellowship with our church community. And so we are going to celebrate next Sunday. So that'll be next Sunday. And then tonight is our night at the movies at 5:30 with the movie The Piano Lesson. And Jan Parkinson was part of the production of this film, and so he's going to be here this evening to talk about that as we watch the film and have a discussion about it. And so that's going to begin at 5:30 today. So come and have some popcorn and watch a movie this afternoon. So with all of that, if we are ready to go to Middle Earth, let's worship. The impact of the Lord of the Rings movies and the books is huge. Tolkien created Middle Earth that defined an entire genre of literature. Tolkien was a devout Christian who expressed his struggles and his faith in his work. Joseph knows the world of Middle Earth in and out. See, I fancy myself to be kind of a Lord of the Rings geek. Well, we'll use the thing. Joseph takes it to a level. He is the master. And so today we are going to lift our voices to God as we go into this world that speaks to so many. But as we do that, I just want to share a moment with you as I was at the convocation lectures at Eden Seminary this last week. And we considered about how certain places, buildings, forests, how they become holy. God's Spirit is everywhere, of course, but there are certain places that we come for spiritual renewal. So many lives have been touched in this place. Marriages, how many marriages? This is where I stand for marriages, right here. How many baptisms and new lives have started here? How many people have said goodbye to someone they love here? Every time, God's Spirit kind of comes into this place and makes it a little holy. So this is holy ground. And so I invite you now to close your eyes if you wish and try to feel the Spirit that's in this place. Breathe deeply and try to connect with it. Think about the people whose journeys have brought them to this time or into this space and who have been changed here. Know that the same Holy Spirit that was with them is with you now. Amen. Being church is about being community. We are here for one another. We are here to go the mile and to bear the load. And so let's rise and greet all the people who are on that path with us this morning and greet them in the hope of friendship and
Well, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? Doing good? Well, this morning I wanted to talk to you all about kindness, about being kind. And I have this picture. If you all want to come a little closer and see this picture, it's actually a photograph by Rusty Leffel, who is a photographer in Kansas City local. And we really loved it, and so have it in our house and to remind us to be kind. Can you read for us what the words are? Would you mind doing that? Can you see? Be kind. Use nice words. Be gentle. So don't you think those are good words to live by and remember in our life? Are there any times where you think, I should be kind to someone? Maybe they're struggling, and, if I would do something to help them or be their friend, that would be a good thing to be. And what about being gentle? What do you think of when you think about being gentle? You have a baby sister. Do sometimes when you hold the baby sister, Mom says, be gentle? Does she say that? Yeah. Or if you have a new puppy or a little kitty, you think about being gentle and being kind. Well, another thing that I wanted to thank all of you, in February, my husband, Jan Parkinson, fell, and he was in the hospital. And Bob Starkey was doing Children's Conversation. Do you remember that, where some of you signed this card? And Bob brought it to him in the hospital and made him feel so much better to know everybody at church and all the kids signed it inside. And so that's one thing we can do when somebody's sick, that we could send them a card or give them a phone call and let them know we're thinking about them. And did you know that we have a committee in Colonial called the Care Committee that does just that? It does kind things by sending cards to people. And last Sunday when we had all the Easter lilies, they took the Easter lilies to people from our church who might be in a nursing home or a home where they can't get to church, and they take the flowers and they let them know that people in Colonial are thinking about them. And they run the prayer chain. They do all kinds of nice things. And there's two people on the Care Committee that have been on the Care Committee for a long time, and That's Glenna Loomis and Jim Loomis. I wondered if they'd stand up and we could. Glenna's been on the care committee for 20 years. That's a long time to care for people. And I just want to thank them because that's a wonderful accomplishment. So if you want to say a prayer, we'll say a prayer. Dear God, thank you and help us to remember to be kind, use nice words, and be gentle. Amen.
Now, last Sunday, it was Easter Sunday. It was the Super Bowl of the Christian year last Sunday. And one of the things that I want to tell you that I love about Colonial Church is that in all our family gatherings, we had all of our special breakfast downstairs, the special music. The one thing that I noticed in particular was that there were people running around also to always remember our church's mission to serve. Clothes were coming in to make sure that the clothes would go out to people who couldn't afford them. Food was coming in. Offering was coming in because even on the Super Bowl Sunday, our heart was with service. And that is something exceptional. It means so much. And that honors God. And so we're going to do that now, as we're going to be thinking about that now as we receive our offering. And Dr. Stacy Algren has come forward because we have a very special offering that's coming up on Mother's Day. It's something we've done before, and Stacy's going to tell you all about it.
Good morning. I was up sooner than I thought. Again, this Mother's Day, Colonial is hosting a fundraising drive to support our Malawi Birth Center at Porthuira in Salima, Malawi. Some of you may remember me talking about this last year and talking about the number 1 in 29. 1 in 29 is the lifetime risk of dying in childbirth in Malawi. Unfortunately, that number has not changed according to UNICEF this year. 1 in 29. Most women have at least 5 babies in their lifetime, and 1 in 29 will die in the process. 1 in 29 mothers do not raise their children. This Mother's Day, every time my friend Annie's mom had a baby and was pregnant, she would prepare Annie to take over the household because surviving childbirth was not an expectation or a reality. This Mother's Day, which is in 2 weeks, if anybody needs a reminder, let's honor the mothers, aunts, sisters, and friends in our lives and give the gift of life and hope. Consider a donation to our Malawi Birth Center, where mothers can come and stay prior to birth and prior to going into labor and having to walk miles. A place where their birth can be attended by healthcare professionals and potentially life-saving interventions can be administered. I will be returning to Malawi in June, and I'm taking my oldest daughter, Reese, with me this time. And I have seen firsthand how Colonial funds have extended in Africa. A little bit goes a long, long way. And I look forward to helping in this very birth center that we continue to support. If you are so moved, give in honor of the loved one's safe births on this upcoming Mother's Day. Checks can be made out to Colonial with Birth Center in the memo or written on the pew envelope. 1 in 29. We can make this better. Thank you.
The world is changed. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the earth. I smell it in the air. Much that once was is lost, for none now live who remember it. It began with the forging of the great rings. 3 were given to the elves, immortal, wisest, and fairest of all beings. 7 to the dwarf lords, great miners and craftsmen of the mountain halls. And 9 rings were gifted to the race of men who above all else desire power. For within these rings was bound the strength and will to govern each race. But they were all of them deceived, for another ring was made. In the land of Mordor, in the fires of Mount Doom, the Dark Lord Sauron forged in secret a master ring to control all others. And into this ring he poured his cruelty, his malice, and his will to dominate all life. One ring to rule them all.
Are starts the whole in darker times, the whole idea of resurrection, which is perfect for following Easter.
This is it.
This is what?
If I take one more step, it'll be the farthest away from home I've ever been.
Come on, Sam. Remember what Bilbo used to say? It's a dangerous business,
Frodo, going out your door. You step onto the road, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to.
He used to say there was only one road, that it was like a great river. The springs were at every doorstep and every path was a tributary. It's a dangerous business, Frodo, going out of your door, he used to say. You step into the road, and if you don't keep up your feet, there's no telling where you might be swept off to from the Fellowship of the Ring.
As I said, the biggest, probably, besides power, the biggest thing that the Lord little speck on this gigantic, and beyond that are things that the hobbits never knew existed, and they're pretty much not prepared, so they have to overcome and deal with it. But they're always taught from Gandalf, the wise great wizard we will talk about in another section, that no matter what, they'll have their foundation and what they're built on and their hobbit reserve. He always says constantly throughout the book that he's always surprised by the ability of hobbits. These halfling creatures, that some of the smallest in Middle Earth, that somehow always manage to do great deeds greater than any man else before. So, every other section I will include a song, because Lord of the Rings has a lot of songs. Tolkien wrote a lot of poems, a lot of odes that are songs, and if you want, there's a really great audiobook version of the Lord of the Rings trilogy done by Robert Ainsworth. I can't remember his last name, but he sings all the songs every time they come out, and it's wonderful, and he was one who does the mission sings with it as well. So, but Tolkien had this whole idea of songs, and given that he was very devout in his Christian belief, and his mixing of Norse mythology and Christian mythology, and all this, of course he would write hymns into his masterwork. So we'll talk about those in the next section. However, for this one, I wanted to open up with this because the journey is such a huge part of the story. Plus, when Howard Shore was writing music for the epic Lord of the Rings trilogy that was made by Peter Jackson, he borrowed a little bit from hymning. So we'll explore that with our first hymn. The Lord of the Rings main theme is which now, if you turn with me to number 21, God reigns o'er all the earth, or otherwise known as This Is Our Father's World. It starts with the line. So, I would like to sing verses 1 and 3 of God reigns over all the earth, which are also things. Sing about these. Imagine the countryside that it is describing, because Tolkien's favorite place, I think, in all of Middle Earth was the Shire. To him, it was unaffected, unchanged, existed in this massive world, and it was innocent. So, we will sing verses 1 and 3 of 21. values and foundation that the hobbits had. So I would now like to sing verses 2 and 4 of How Firm a Foundation, so that we can join the hobbits on their journey.
There's no more stars. Is it time?
Yes.
It's so quiet.
It's the deep breath before the plunge.
I don't want to be in a battle. But waiting on the edge of one I can't escape is even worse.
And farewell to Lorien and the Fellowship of the Ring. There long the golden leaves have grown upon the branching years, while here beyond the sundering seas now fall the even tears. O Lorien, the winter comes, the barren leafless day. The leaves are falling in the stream, the river flows away. And from the shadow of the past, I wish it would not happen when I was alive, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf. And so do all those who live in hard times. But they can't choose what time they are born in. All they can choose to do is what they do with that time.
So again, you're in the middle of two world wars. Times are dark, and you have to remember that Tolkien is living over in England, which has been ravaged by bombing and has seen countless of its young men die over in the war in Europe, which Tolkien came back from. And one thing that is often talked about in any religion is how you remain hopeful and forward-thinking when things just seem unending and dark. In that clip, Pippin is with Gandalf in Minas Tirith, which is right across from the mountains that are the border of Mordor, the Dark Lands, where Sauron is growing his forces. And in the book, it describes his armies. Sauron sends this huge black smoke that cuts out all the stars. It could be 12 noon. Often characters are waking up and saying, "Have we slept through till dark?" And people say, "No, it's noon, and you can't see anything. It's dark." And he even has a song sung by Galadriel, who's one of the three elves who have one of the Elven Rings of power. And she's singing about how times are changing, and she's using seasons, season unknown tune.
Show yourself!
It cannot be. Forgive me. I mistook you for Saruman.
I am Saruman. Rather Saruman as he should have been.
From the mirror of Galadad, a lord of wisdom throned he sat, swift in anger, quick to laugh, an old man in a battered hat who leaned upon a thorny staff. He stood upon the bridge alone, and fire and shadow both defied. His staff was broken on the stone, and Khazad-dûm his wisdom died. And from the two towers, at last Aragorn stirred. "Gandalf," he said, "beyond all hope you returned to us in our need." "Gandalf," the old man repeated, as if Gandalf were from old memory, a long disused word. "Yes, that was the name. I was Gandalf." "Get up, my good Gimli. No blame to you, no harm done to me. Indeed, my friends, none of you have any weapon that could hurt me. Be merry. We meet again at the turn of the tide. A great storm is coming, but the tide has turned." And finally, Strider from the Fellowship. "All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. The oil that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. From the ashes a fire shall be woken. A light from the shadows shall spring. Renewed shall be blade that was broken. The crownless again shall be king."
So it's fitting after Easter to talk about resurrection. And resurrection is a huge part of Lord of the Rings trilogy in many different ways and in many different characters. There's a literal one which we'll talk about, and then there's a more figurative one which I'll talk about. The literal one comes with good old Gandalf the Grey. In that clip we saw about, it's no longer Gandalf the Grey, it's Gandalf the White. How does that happen? How did he get a costume change? Well, at the end of the Fellowship of the Ring, we heard what's called Frodo's Lament to Gandalf. It's because as the Fellowship of the Ring, these nine travelers, are coming through the deep mines of Moria, they meet an ancient evil known as the Balrog, beast of fire and shadow, which is above all their abilities. So they are fleeing, and they flee across the bridge to Khazad-dûm, deep, deep abyss. At which point Gandalf, knowing that they cannot outrun the Balrog, turns, faces the Balrog, and utters probably one of the most infamous lines in all movie and book lore: "You shall not pass." At which point he shoves his staff onto the bridge. As the Balrog takes one step, the bridge is broken, the Balrog falls, but as the Balrog falls, it whips its whip, catches Gandalf, and pulls him down with him. So our friends are led to believe that Gandalf is dead, that Gandalf has died, sacrificing himself for them. In the Two Towers, the scene that you see, Aragorn, the human, Gimli the dwarf, and Legolas the elf are in the woods, which is of course Gimli's least favorite spot, as the dwarf in the mountains. So they're all on edge, especially Gimli, and they hear and see murmurs of a white wizard coming towards them. And the only white wizard we know about is Saruman, who threw in his lot to join Sauron and turned against our heroes. So they give this white wizard no chance. They turn around and they fire their bows, and he throws his axe, and all are deflected. And it is revealed that it was not Saruman, but it was Gandalf, Gandalf the White. Come back, because as we find out, he fought the Balrog through fire, through abyss, all the way to the bottom of the mountain, and then they climbed all the way to the top of the mountain, and they fought, and Gandalf defeated the Balrog, but was destroyed himself. At which point, Ilúvatar, who was not mentioned in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but is mentioned in the Silmarillion, who is the God figure of the Lord of the Rings, sends Gandalf back because his job is not ended, but this time sends him back as Gandalf the White. Or as Gandalf says, "I am Saruman," or that is, Saruman as he should have been. So, this lament And we will sing verses 2 and 3.
dear Sam. You cannot always be torn in two. You will have to be one and whole for many years. You have so much to enjoy and to be and to do. Your part in the story will go on. Well, I'm back.
To the sea, the white gulls are crying. The wind is blowing and the white foam is flying. West, west away, the round sun is falling. Gray ship, do you hear them calling in voices of my people that have gone before me? I will leave the woods that bore me. For our days are ending and our years falling. I will pass the wide world lonely sailing. Long are the waves on the last shore falling. Sweet are the voices of the lost isle calling. In Essaria, in elven home that no man can discover, where the leaves fall not, land of my people forever. And from the gray havens, at last the three companies turned away, and never again looking back, they rode slowly homewards. And they spoke no word to one another until they came back to the Shire. But each had great comfort in his friends on the long gray road. At last they rose over the downs and looked down the east road and then to Mary and Pippin Road on to Buckland. And already they were singing again as they went. But Sam turned to Bywater, so came back up the hill as day was ending once more. And he went on. And there was yellow light and fire within, and the evening meal was ready, and he was expected. And Rose drew him in, and set him in his chair, and put little Eleanor upon his lap. He drew a deep breath. Well, I'm back, he said.
Means that where you come to at the end
us. We've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first began. Joseph, thank you so much for putting together our service today. We all... You and I, we are on a journey together. And as you were talking, we are part of a chain of people those that have gone before us, as we make the world ready for those who will come after us. These are our days. These are our days to bless the world as best we are able. Colonial Church, we exist as a community to bless. And so let's now turn toward the center aisle as we go from this place in a covenant with God and with one another to continue to do and be just that. We covenant with the Lord and with one another, and to bind ourselves in the presence of God, to walk together in Christian love. We seek to worship God in spirit and in truth, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. With God's help, we will honor Colonial Church in our conduct, support its program, and extend the influence of Christ throughout the world. Well, our time of worship is over, but our journey goes on. So go in peace and live your life passionately and love faithfully and celebrate. Celebrate every moment of life that you've got from now until your life's finale, because our God of resurrecting grace goes with you always. Amen.